What's up, everybody? This is the Hedge Mage, and I'm back again with another Pauper video, talking again some more about some of these new commons from the new set, Murders at Karlov Manor. Today I'm going over my top 3 picks of the best new common cards from that set. As always, if you want to support the channel, if you could leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's talk about these new cards. Okay, so coming in at number 3, I have Demand Answers. For 1 generic mana and a red, it's an instant. It's an additional cost to cast the spell. You have to sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, and then draw 2 cards. So this card is actually really good. I think this card is amazing. Honestly, and it feels weird to be putting it at number 3. Feels feels very weird, but honestly, red has been probably of the new commons in this set has been like kind of the toughest for me to kind of rank. So all 3 cards that I'm going over today, honestly, I think they're all really great. So this card is very strong. There's like maybe a couple, two to three decks where I can actually see this being a useful thing. Number one is the usual affinity, so Grixis Affinity. They do run red. They could use this card as a way to draw more cards because they have plenty of artifacts to sacrifice. So why not? Also, Boros Synth might want to use this to draw more cards. They could sacrifice their Lembas and just draw 2 cards for 2 mana. It's pretty decent. Madness could potentially use this. They run artifact lands as well as blood tokens, and discarding a card is great for them because that allows them to cast their cards for their Madness cost, which is what that deck is all about. So yeah, this card is really strong. I think it has a lot of potential. Will have to remain seated to see if this will actually become a staple or not, but I do think this card has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to brew with it. All right, coming in at number 2, I have Galvanize. For 1 generic mana and a red. It's an instant. Galvanize deals 3 damage to target creature. If you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, Galvanize deals 5 damage to that creature instead. So basically, you can use this card to kill a Terror or a Cryptic Serpent or a Gurmag Angler. So the fact that it does 5 damage and then it costs 2 mana really has got my interest peaked. I have got to say that is just the fact that it does 5 damage as someone that does play red decks, does play burn, but I'm always looking for other ways that I could potentially fight against Terror, especially Dimir Terror, because once they are able to get unexpected fangs to resolve onto one of their creatures, whether it's Tolarian Terror, Gurmag Angler, or a Cryptic Serpent, the game is pretty much over for the burn player, especially the mono red burn player. I think Blackburn might have a little bit more of a chance against Dimir Serpents or Dimir Terror, but red is really has to have a hard time. You basically have to kill them before they ever get a chance to put unexpected fangs on something because it is incredibly tough for that deck to deal with a 5/5. At least with Blackburn, you do have access to edicts and just some hard removal. Red, not so much. So the fact that you can deal 5 damage to a creature is really relevant. The other side of it is that you have to find a way to draw cards. So if you which you don't actually have a lot of way to actually draw cards in that deck. So this is definitely maybe there could potentially be an is it burn deck that this would go into. So you have to be able to draw cards, and mono red burn does not draw a lot of cards. However, Rakdos Burn or Madness Burn does. So this could potentially fit into that deck, or it could fit into, basically any deck that has ways to draw cards. It's definitely kind of more on the sideboard side. I don't really see this being a main board thing, but it's definitely some tech that you could utilize against the Tolarian Terrors, Gurmag Anglers of the world. So definitely a pretty powerful card, but it's also very niche, which is why I'm putting it at number 2. Okay, and so my number 1 card for the new red cards in this set is Red Harried. For 1 generic mana and a red, it's an artifact creature, Clue Fish. It has haste, it attacks each combat if able, and for 2 generic mana, you can sacrifice it to draw a card. It's a 2/2. Well, right now, there's probably only one deck that I can think of that might want to play around with working this card into the list. That deck is Kuldotha Red. So this actually synergizes with a number of the cards in that deck already. So the fact that it has a sacrifice ability, that is going to synergize with your Goblin Blast Runner, making it a 3/2 menace. With your Tomb Raider, it is going to count. It counts as an artifact, which is going to enable the Tomb Raider to have a +1/+0 and haste. So that is, all very useful. It also lets you draw a card, which you're gonna need that as well. So this card definitely has a lot of potential. Is it going to replace things like Ren's Resolve in the deck? I'm not so sure if I want to give up those for this card, though it is a 2/2 haste. So it does come out swinging. It's an artifact. It lets you draw cards, so I think the card is very good. And that's going to do it for me for this video. What do you guys think of these cards? Are there any of these red cards that you think I should have added to this list? Would you rank these any differently? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you all next time.